Welcome to HWM. We have what is a personal favourite of mine in the studio today. It is the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. For me, all V12 Vantage are wonderful cars, but in particular, this is the last of the V12 Vantage S, and it is a Sports Plus Pack variant. Now, for me, since new, this car has been overlooked somewhat. So much so that when new, they only sold globally 260 V12 Vantage S manual coupes. And it delivers such a delightful driving experience. It just seems remarkable to me because it's got this wonderful naturally aspirated V12 engine under the bonnet, fantastic carbon ceramic brakes, hydraulic steering that's full of power, full of feel, and then it feeds through to a transaxle layout at the back with a limited slip diff where it puts down its power, and it's beautifully balanced. It's 52-48 weight distribution. So for anybody who likes driving, the combination of a V12 engine with a manual gearbox and this beautiful chassis is one that should be savoured. And so I think this is one of the great driver's cars. But let's look at some of the reasons why. So you can't talk about V12 Vantage without popping the bonnet and looking under this beautiful hood. The Aston Martin V12, it's a naturally aspirated engine, and with the Sports Plus Pack, it has an extra 5 brake horsepower and 10 Newton meters of torque. So that's 568 brake horsepower. And it's an enormously flexible unit and a really strong unit, but ultimately it's the noise and it's the linearity of its delivery. And out there in the marketplace, there's almost no V12 Vantage manuals that you can buy of this era. It's a unique offering. It breathes through the back of the car via two exhausts that exit at the rear, and it is actually a 177 derived muffler. So as you wind this engine up, the howl that it makes is absolutely incredible. So I've mentioned that this V12 Vantage S is fitted with the Sports Plus Pack. What that gives you is the 5 brake horsepower, 10 Newton meters of torque, and then externally there were a pack of colour options. This is one of them. It's China grey with the yellow accents, which is incidentally the same colour combination as the Aston Martin press car. It should be pointed out this isn't the Aston Martin press car, but it's kind of a halo launch spec, and it works very well on the car. The other thing that the Sports Plus Pack gets is these lightweight forged alloy wheels, and they save 3.3 kilograms in unsprung weight. So in terms of suspension performance, that is a critical weight saving. Now, Aston fit to this era of car carbon ceramic brakes, and in its day it was pretty much one of the fastest decelerating cars that you can buy. And as we know, to go quickly in a car, you've got to trust that it can stop, and they are full of feel as well. Coming through to the side of the car, you can see yellow accents all the way down and the wing mirrors. And this car's fitted with PPF, stone protection all over the front, up the side of the car, and extended to elements of the rear and the rear bumper. So the paintwork condition, this China grey paint, is beautiful. This car really has been doted on. We know the previous owner, and it was evident that he really loved this car. Now, we've popped the boot because V12 Vantage S is actually a really practical car. So it's got a good sized boot for long road trips, the parcel shelf comes out, and there's even storage space behind the front seats for soft luggage. So as a touring proposition combined with an 80-litre fuel tank, actually it's a really usable car. So it's a wonderful thing with that long-legged V12 up front and a 7-speed gearbox to be munching the miles as well as engaging on country roads. So moving through to the interior, we see another aspect of the Sports Plus Pack, and that was extended Alcantara. And I love Alcantara as a trim because it's very sporty, it holds you in place, it's more grippy than leather, and it's also less sensitive to temperature. So on hot days and cold days, the feel of it doesn't fluctuate in quite the same way. So extended across the dashboard, which gives it a really sporty feel, and an Alcantara steering wheel. This car has got a full Aston Martin service history, and I can put that in the glove box. Don't say we're not balanced with these cars. It's got a tiny glove box, so you can fit a service book and instruction manual in there, and that's about it. Now, one of the things I love about this era of car is they've got a fantastic infotainment system. So often Aston Martin gets a bad rap for its infotainment systems, but this era has Apple CarPlay as standard. It's the final phase of Aston Martin's infotainment system before they switched across to Mercedes-Benz electrical architecture, and it works really well, and it's beautifully laid out. You've got these lovely silver knurled controls. I think this is a wonderful place to be. Now, the critical thing in the middle of the dashboard here, the 7-speed gearbox. Now, it is set up in a dogleg style. Dogleg being that first gear is across and back, reverse is directly forward from that. Why have Aston done that? Well, first of all, there's 7 ratios to accommodate in this gearbox phase, but critically, when you're driving hard, first gear you just use to pull away. So when you're driving enthusiastic, you've then got the H pattern for the remaining 6 gears, which is where in theory you should be busiest. Interestingly also, because it's got so much torque, this engine, it'll pull away in second gear, no problem at all. And it's a really enjoyable unit to use. You've got to get to know it, but that's part of the charm and challenge of owning a manual gearbox. It's got a system called AM Shift, Aston Martin Shift, which can be switched on and off. And essentially what that does is 2 things. First of all, as you're coming down the gearbox, it rev matches. And then as you're going up the gearbox, it manages the throttle just to smooth out your shifts. Now, if you just press a button, you can switch it off, and actually the pedals are really well placed to heel and toe to rev match yourself. But it's nice to have the option, and it's nice to know that it's so easily switched off. Other than that, as a cabin, this is in beautiful condition. It still smells like new, and it's got Alcantara all the way throughout, including the headlights. So a lovely place to be. So that concludes our walk around of this beautiful 12,500 mile 2016-66 V12 Vantage S Sports Plus pack. It is timelessly prepared and supplied with a 12-month Aston Martin warranty. Should you have any questions, do contact our team and we'd be happy to help you.